and welcome everyone to How to Introduce the Illuminati Part 2. I hope everyone liked the first part.
I got it. I liked it.
My little surprise sneak attack at the same.
You sent me back for that.
I see. The problem is now I got to figure a way how to bring him back. I just don't know how to yet.
It sounds like a hard part, but then like you can figure something out. It's a movie.
It's true. But right, as always, I'm Mitch. You can follow me on Twitter, Mitch692, and of course, I'm joined by Sean.
What's up? You can follow me here.
And only here.
And only here. Nowhere else.
Don't go searching. He's not there.
Please don't.
Well, I hope he's not there. If he is, I don't know.
I'm not. I'm a ghost.
Right. So last week I had Bong Joon-ho as my director, and I believe you had David Fincher.
Yeah.
My Illuminati was comprised, that's a big word for me, of Black Panther. I had Black Bottom Medusa, who I had Krasinski and Dormer for. Ajak, who I had Selma Hayek, obviously, because she's Ajak in Eternal, or she will be Ajak in Eternal. She hasn't actually come out yet. One day, hopefully. Brie Larson, obviously, is Captain Marvel. Elizabeth Olsen, Scarlet Witch, and Namor, I had Keanu Reeves. And of course, I had Bradley Cooper as the Sentry, who will be coming back somehow. Not in this one, but somewhere down the line. Oh, Bradley Cooper. Now, do you remember yours?
Yeah, hold on. It's somewhere.
I'm saying, because I have it up right here, because it's like a smart boy. I write everything down.
I wrote things down, but
the only thing I didn't write down is who you had for one of yours, but I know who you had for the other one you brought in. But everyone else is kind of like already there. It's just that one act.
Man. Of course, I don't have the actors attached to. Well, I mean, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, Nick Fury, Hank Pym, Charles Xavier, and Reed Richards.
/ Black Panther.
That's Black.
Yeah. Which I say just have the pair of them there. Just have both.
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
why not? Why not?
Why not? Like, he's the conscious.
So obviously Reed was going to be Krasinski, and I can't remember who you had for Charles. I know you went out swinging with Charles.
It was a black actor. If I remember.
I want to say Denzel, but I know it wasn't Denzel.
No, it was man. I'm terrible.
This is what I get for not writing it down. But
this is my fault.
But right, so we both kind of alluded to the Cabal being in the second part.
Mm-hmm.
We both had Black Swan in the post-credit scene doing Black Swan-y things. Do you have your actor for Black Swan?
Yes, I do.
Hit me. Go.
Black Swan. Hold on. Let's see. Black Swan. Amanda Seyfried. I'm just gonna like, cause like she's got the blonde hair. She's a good actress. I think she could pull off. I mean, she's pulled off evil in so many different movies. I forgot that movie, like where she played a crazy lady with Julianne Moore. Man, but like she had. I think she has an acting chops to pull off that role.
Nice. I went slightly different for Black Swan.
Who'd you get?
Sandy Newton.
Oh, okay.
I say old Sandy. That's not like in an old like she's old. It's more like good old Sandy Newton. Or is it? I never know if it's Sandy or Tandy.
I believe it's Tandy. Yeah.
So I always say
she's great in Westworld. So
I'm saying she's fantastic in Westworld.
She's like one of the best characters in that show. Like.
And they know that, and that's why. Is season 3 the one that just came and went?
Yeah.
Yeah. She plays a massive part in season 3 of Westworld. Massive part.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
I was torn because I think we're going to do this like you go, I go, I go, you go, you go, I go. Do that sort of thing. That might get screwed up down. Because I want to have Supergiant in this as well. So if we're gonna
Okay.
do like, you know, Black Swan technically isn't a child of Thanos, but she kind of becomes one, kind of.
Eventually,
So I figured let's just bring in Supergiant. Like
Okay.
she got left out of the Infinity War and Endgame. Let's bring her in here. And I went for Mila Kunis on that one, but
Okay.
I can interchange Newton and Kunis between
Yeah.
those two, which
And
is,
Kunis could definitely pull that off. I mean, like Black Swan. I mean,
I say literally the
Black
movie
Swan.
Black Swan. That's
That
kind
was
of
a little
why.
loose.
That's kind of why I was like, I remember that movie Black Swan. It's just like she was really good in that. She kind of played it how you could play a Black Swan in Marvel. So I was
She's
like,
evil too in that movie.
she really is. And like, you know, like obviously Sandy Newton, you know, Westworld, she can play those sorts of roles. So those two I find interchangeable. I wouldn't mind either way, but for the sake of the video, I settled on Kunis as Supergiant, Newton as Black Swan.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So who else you got?
Okay, my first one, like, see, mine is easy because it's a lot of established characters. I'm going to start with the most obvious one.
Well, since you've got yours, since yours all established, let's knock yours all out, and we'll do them how we usually do.
The one of them, I'm trying to think about who I want. I haven't really, I don't know. I haven't really got him yet. But the first one is Thanos, obviously, and I mean, he's already, you know, he's already established as Josh Brolin, anyway. So
yeah, so that's an easy one.
And then you got Jan Rog.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because you know, Jan. I was trying to see what the mirror was to that Illuminati, and like then I went with Barrow Mordo.
Nice. I didn't think of Mordo.
I know he's coming back in Doctor Strange too, but like, you know, like I feel like the character kind of could fit into that group because of like the mentality that was already established in the Doctor Strange movie. And okay, this next one is Doom.
Nice,
you know?
yeah.
And we already casted Doom.
And so we already established Doom in our own little pocket timeline corner thingy. So
yeah. Then these are the two ones that are I think might come out of nowhere with everybody, but like first one's Sinister.
Okay, nice.
And maybe get Clooney to play him. You know, like I think Clooney's got some.
Ooh.
He's got some. You know, he's got some. I think he could pull off menacing and stuff like that. You might augment like his face a little bit with CGI, but I think he could definitely pull off something like that.
No, I like that.
And then here comes. I think this is the one that's going to come out of left field for everybody. The Hood.
Nice. Was part of the Illuminati or some incarnation of it. So nice.
I looked at the characters that were in there, and I'm like, you know, like there was something about the character that was like kind of interesting because he was just like a Joe Blow, you know,
very like J-list villain.
Yeah, I mean, he was past. I think they did the alphabet twice before they got to this character.
He's J.B.
And this is I think people might disagree or agree. Who knows? But like James McAvoy, bring him back in, but bring him back as a villain. You know, and like, you know, when I looked at the Hood, I looked at like not Glass, but what's the Split? Yeah, and he fucking plays scary, very 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 good. So I think, and like towards the end of the character's run, the Hood became a little bit more. I don't know. I think he became more intimidating because of like the nature of like what was taking over him and with the you know quote unquote hood that he was wearing.
Yeah.
And you could probably match him it was sort of like a Doctor Strange villain, but he sort of could be played off any character. But that's mine. Like it was easy at the beginning because you got Thanos, you got Jan Rog, and you got Baron Morton, which are already cast in real life anyways. So it's like, you don't have to do half, but that's mine.
Nice. All right. Obviously, as I said, I got Black Swan and Supergiant. My next one is, I don't know if I should say obvious. It's not a typical Illuminati character, but I went for Ultron. Bring
it back, man.
Either get Spader back or what's his name, Russ Marquand, the guy who did Red Skull. Like, he did Spader's voice in that event, that Ultron VR thing, or whatever that thing was, where the Ultron was massive, that game. So
he's the guy that you bring back when the guy who actually played the character can't.
Exactly. Like he doesn't do a perfect Spader. There was something slightly off with his Spader impression, but if you can't get Spader back, it's very hard. If you can't get Spader back, I'm more than happy with that guy. It's not like you're gonna see his face. You can just borrow the CGI from Age of Ultron. We ain't having that face.
I was gonna say, like, I think if you do it more traditional.
Yeah, because my whole thing, like, in this movie would, if it's a returning character, like, I'm having Thanos on my team as well, but he's more of a plot point than an actual member. So it's a case of, like, you just have like a little flashback, or even like the first 5 minutes is them going to get Ultron. They're assembling the team, something like that. So I've got Ultron on there. I got Doctor Doom, but I'm not sure about Doom. I like it's more of a setup for what comes in the inevitable Illuminati third movie. But
I looked at Doom and said, you see the end result, but you've got to set it up, and I feel like getting him on the team has to be the setup.
Yeah, that's kind of the same line of thinking I was going, but it's like, I wasn't sure if Doom is the type of person. I know he's been on the Illuminati before, but it's like, is Doom really a team player? I'm not sure. But then again, that's probably why he should be on there, because interesting dynamic. I have the Maker on there as well.
Okay.
Just to bring back Rahul Kohli as my Reed Richards. So.
Well, I thought about bringing him in, but then I'm like,
I kind of set him up in the Ultimates movie and then never did anything with him.
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to pay him off. Also, the Maker played some part in Hickman's Secret Wars, so he's got to be there to an extent. My pseudo last one, because obviously said Thanos is going to be there, who's obviously Brolin, is I'm working under the assumption that Sophia Di Martino in the Loki show is female. I'm absolutely working under that assumption, so she's going to be the Lady Loki in there. I was tossing up between her and Maximus, and I figured, you know what, let's go something different. Maximus can be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Let's go Sophia Martino.
Yeah, that's a good goal. You bring in Loki, but then it's like a different flavor.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not necessarily the Loki you will remember.
Yeah, it's not the Loki you necessarily want or need, but it's Loki you're getting, which is Loki all over. So.
Well, out of all the incarnations, I liked that one, and then the kid Loki versus like the adult male Loki.
There's definitely far more interesting versions of Loki than just Loki. We've had like 12 years of Hiddleston Loki. Let's give someone else a chance to be Loki, because that kind of the role lends itself to that. So.
Yeah, I mean, of course, as the comics have proven,
Exactly. So, right, there's our Cabal. Now, what are you going to do with them? What's the meaty part of the movie?
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I was sort of like a lot of stuff going on, but like I had a chance to kind of put together a plan beforehand, but like I wanted to I wanted Cabal to be kind of in the background of this movie. I didn't want him to be in the foreground as much. Maybe maybe the Illuminati's going after, like, I always assumed and like that the whole goal was to bring back Thanos. Thanos wasn't actually in the movie per se, like the Illuminati were trying to prevent it. The Cabal were trying to bring upon it, the resurrection of Loki. So that's how I would like kind of frame the movie, as like it's sort of a I don't know if it's a heist movie so much, but it's more of a
it's like a race against the clock sort of thing.
Yeah, a race against the clock, and like they're trying to get certain items to kind of bring him back. And then like the end would be him be brought back. Like that last shot is just him, maybe sitting in a chair. You don't see him.
He's back to how we saw him for 10 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say more so what they did with him in the beginning, but more like, I don't know, like just you just hear him coming back, and they don't, like, the Illuminati don't necessarily prevent it.
Yeah. I think that's how mine's probably going to go as well. I think, because I know my credit scene for the first part was Black Swan's visiting Namor, but I think using Namor as like the turncoat is a bit too obvious.
Obvious, yeah.
So like maybe still keep him as a turncoat, but have him like a turncoat, like a double.
Yeah, double agent.
Yeah. So he joins the Cabal. You have a thing with that, but it's right before the second act low, because you have to have a second act low. He kind of tells the Illuminati what's going on and what they're doing, what they're getting. Obviously they've been clashing at the first act and a half, and then you'll bring it then. And then, because if you bring this Thanos back, you've got to do something different with him. You have to. You can't just bring back. You can't just bring back Thanos like as we know it.
I don't want to use the Infinity Stones right away.
No,
like, I don't.
No,
I want the gold. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, I think like the stones come back with him.
Yeah,
to an extent.
They're like it's like a byproduct of him coming back.
Yeah.
But like I don't want. I want him to be more of like a force of nature versus like.
Absolutely.
He's not going after things, and putting together things. He's not looking for the stones, in these trilogies. He's just like, I kind of want to go to the comics and kind of involve death in some way, but like, I don't know how that would work.
Well, we're very similar paths here, because I figured we've seen a Thanos win. But that Thanos ultimately, like, he did, he was. There was very much more of a, like, the work's done, you can kill me, it doesn't matter, sort of a win. And his story ended there, and then we had the Thanos who hadn't won yet, and it was a very younger one, and a bit more ready to fight for what
had a little more piss and vinegar in him.
Yeah, literally a bit piss and vinegar. So. I think the best route would be to get an old man Thanos. You go the Donny Cates Thanos wins route, and you pull old man Thanos from a universe who literally won, and then everything else trying to stop him failed. It's literally a universe where Tony Stark didn't die at that point to save everyone, but he did die later on, because obviously Thanos had won. It's like you just say it's the Thanos that came back from 2014, just carried on, and he still had that, as you put it so eloquently, piss of vinegar on him, and that just carried on. You could show, like when Namor's telling the Illuminati about everything, you can just show glimpses of what this Thanos done. Like, he ripped Tony Stark in half. Like, maybe not do that, because that's like a hard R thing, because you're gonna have all the blood go But you can kind of allude to that scene. You know, you can allude to the whole using Black Bolt to destroy the Celestials. You can allude to him having the Hulk as a pet and Banner slowly, or very quickly, like devolving into the Dog Hulk sort of a thing. You know, no, I'd keep Cosmic Ghost Rider far away from this because that's very much not the tone of this movie. But like, just allude to the more iconic shots from that Thanos Wins miniseries.
Yeah,
and like, you know, he's like, well, I've done everything. You can have the stones, but the stones are really on their last legs because he's that old, and they've been used maybe one too many times.
Diluted themselves.
Yeah, and he's like, you know what? The last thing I can do in this universe is destroy it completely because everything else has been done. And by doing that is him leaving, because we had the whole spill with the Ancient One with the stones being like, oh, you know, if you do that, you're going to leave it open to everything. Well, those sort of forces already won. So if you take them out, it couples that. And that's how you can say we get our stones back. Like, they're not going to be as OP as they were, even though they'll very much toned down from the comics for the movies. But
like, I wanted to use the stones, but sort of like what they did with the incursions, eventually.
Yeah,
but like, I don't want the story. I wouldn't want the story to be just about him, because like there's more stories that involve Thanos that are iconic without those stones.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, you know, just resorting to go back to using the stones is kind of like,
it's cheap.
Feels kind of lazy.
It's very cheap. Yeah, that's why it's like, my idea is you bring them back, but they're not really stable. They're very old. They don't really have a charge in them anymore, which really lends itself to what happens with the incursion, which we'll get to next week. Because that's a spoiler for a fan fiction, like, essentially.
But yeah, you know, stones are kind of like the last resort type thing, where, you know, like, you use it one more time, they're done. Like,
And like, my third act, because I want to involve death as well, and I think the whole, you know, if you've got an old man Thanos, like, you know, the whole death scene, she's never satisfied because people have got to die, and if she's not satisfied with everyone in the universe dying, then he's got to do another one maybe. But this time he's got to do it without the stones, without cheating, because he cheated. So like, he still brings them over anyway, but he puts them down, and like, or something along those lines. Or she takes them away, something like that. Either way, the point is he doesn't have them in the final fight. But you get this big, like, fat muscle, chunky old man Thanos with the crown,
seasoned,
with the
like
long,
the Mike Tyson up to there.
Yeah, and the long pie May beard. Like, he's got to be able to flick it over. Like, just have him flick it over his shoulder once, just please. That's all I want. But yeah, that's kind of how I think I'd go with the second movie. You know, obviously, you have the big clash with the Cabal, the Illuminati, and Thanos. Because I think I've got an even 7 on both sides. Not that the old man Thanos would really need the Cabal, but they're going to be there. None of them are going to die, because I'm not having Ultron die a second time. Maybe Chris the Giant. I'm not sure, but
I mean, if anybody, like, I don't know who I would like kill in this group, because like some of them still have some life left in them.
Yeah.
But
I think we're past the whole killing the villains thing. It's like, let's have the threat still be there. You can use them in interesting ways. You know, you don't have to be repetitive with everything.
Yeah, that's the one thing I hated. I did not really like too much. Is like it's sort of like the Batman '89 syndrome, where they have to kill off the villain. You know, it's like
it's like, how else you can have the hero win? Kill the villain off. It's like, oh, no.
It's like, you know, after a while you can't just pull people. Like, there's only so many villains that can go toe to toe with certain people before it becomes you're gonna have to start pulling Stiltman out, you know, because that's all you have left, you know.
I mean, I'd watch it.
Yeah,
I definitely.
Of course.
Well, but it's one of those. It's a catch-22, because you've got so many stories with the villains you can do. But on the flip side, it's nice having the MCU having like a finite sense to it.
Yeah.
It's like eventually you can't just keep bringing people back. You're gonna have to kill off a villain at some point. Like yes, we
And be
had 10
permanent.
years of killing villains off, but you know, it's wasteful in a way to kill them off. At the same time, you got to
You gotta have some stakes.
you got to kill a few of them off. Like I like a Crimson Dynamo and Whiplash. I know they merged the two together. Like you can one and done those. That's fine. That's fine.
Well,
You can do that, but
you can even put up a consideration that like Quicksilver dying and being permanent is kind of a good idea too.
yeah, but at the same time, maybe not in the first movie. Like,
It's true.
don't introduce him and 10 minutes later just kill him off with a bullet. Like whack.
At least he's got the coolest line in the movie.
He does. People be like, "Oh, that Quicksilver sucks." Well, at least you know a quote from that Quicksilver, don't you?
Yeah.
You couldn't say a single one from the other one.
Yeah, I'm not. I love the actor in the X-Men one, but it's just.
He's not Quicksilver. I'll stand by that. He's literally just there for a scene because people ate the first one up, and they fell for it, and that's all people give a shit about. But that's way off. So that's how where I'd want to go. Like introduce death in the movie, have that be his motivation for coming here. Because why would an old man Thanos come to the Cabal? I don't know.
And that's another cosmic being, that can be introduced.
Yeah,
in an interesting way, like just not in a because I don't know. That was the one thing that I was kind of bugged me about the MCU version of Thanos. It's like I feel like if they would have had they could have used death in an interesting way, in those movies. Like he could have been something that he's the only one that can see her, and
well, they played about with that in I can't remember what run it was. I want to say it was the Thanos Rising run with Jason Aaron. He's the only one that can see death. He always looked crazy. Yeah, they revealed it. Spoilers, you haven't actually read that run. He was like a pirate warlord, and that's that's where they got the idea from for the warlord in the movies. But he killed a ton of people, and he's literally talking to death, and his crew's going like, "Who's he talking to?" It's like, is he talking to nothing again? It's like, yes, this guy's nuts, but I want to live. So.
Well, yeah, that would be kind of scary to have someone like that talking to thin air, It's like be kind of
just to make him that little bit more evil, that little bit more unsettling and intimidating. Like this dude talks to himself. He's not talking to himself, but to everyone else, he's talking to himself.
Is he talking to me, or is he talking to you? Or is he... I don't know.
You could quite easily play that off, like he has you could say like Black Swans from his timeline because she's not actually from the 616. She's always somewhere else. Like she's always standing next to him, and it's like he's talking to her, but. You reveal it later on, like she's not there at some point, and the illusion's just shattered. And it's like this guy's nuts. He's been talking to someone the entire time.
That would be an interesting way to kind of retcon her into the movies, right?
Yeah.
yeah. But he's never it'd be funny if all the movies he's not really talking to the heroes, he's talking to her, and then you don't realize that until a movie or not,
Yeah, just that Trinity fight scene where they all walk up to him in Endgame, just have death there. Yeah. It's like, see, you failed. It's like you came back to me. It's like he wasn't talking to those. They're so insignificant to him. He's actually talking to someone. There would be an interesting way to do that. I think it would take someone smarter than me to figure how to do that out.
100%.
I'm sure it's definitely doable. Even if it's just that you use it just as the reveal in this movie, and the consequences of him winning Endgame is what made death appear to him. You can insert it that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he killed literally half the universe.
Yeah.
If there was an entity out there that represented death, I'm sure that she'd be really happy.
Oh, was she though? She's never happy.
Yeah, it's true. She's like every other woman.
Never satisfied, which is more of a commentary on men and women, by the way.
Don't tell my wife I said that.
No. Well, hopefully she's not listening in. If you hear the shotgun load, then you know she heard it.
If you don't if you hear from me and I'm in the back of like I'm sitting on the side of a street, then you know exactly. I've been kicked out. Yeah.
But right, end credit scene. I think we all know what you have to allude to.
I just want him sitting in that chair, and I don't know. I just kind of want like I want the incursion to be hinted at some point.
Yeah,
and
so that's what I was more getting at for like.
Yeah,
the credit scene has to be the incursion starts.
Sort of like panning, do that whole pan up where it kind of zooms out, and then you just see, like, you know, like mirror images of the Earth kind of merging, or something like that.
Because I want to say, didn't they turn the sky red in
in the comic?
Avengers, yeah. They did something to indicate it was going on. Yeah,
there was like electrical storms, right, or something like that.
I want to say something. So, yeah. Like you just saw like the electricity, a bit of Kirby crackle, because you got to have the Kirby crackle in there.
Of course.
And then you just have like that. You know, you could, you know, just say you have them like look up and see something, but then you go to the wide like planetary shot, and then you just ape what Transformers did with Cybertron, but it's an Earth.
But better.
Yeah, obviously a lot better. You can actually tell what it is. It's not just a giant mess of CGI laid upon CGI upon CGI upon CGI.
Yeah, all this is a filter anyway. So
it's true.
Like overlay.
So, yeah, really I think that's got to be the obvious, because we all know where we're going with the Illuminati. Yeah, like, everyone like knows who they are and they know them for Secret Wars. Like, yes, they did something before, but everyone knows them for Secret Wars because of Hickman, and it's still one place you gotta go.
Now, do you include the Beyonders at some point?
In a Secret Wars movie, maybe.
Yeah.
Not in the Illuminati or setting them up. But...
Man, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's gonna be interesting.
I'll say that's a bridge I will cross when we get to it. Like, I have no idea how you do that.
The hour-long episode of us just saying, "Oh my god, wouldn't that be cool?"
I don't know how to do this. How would you do it? I don't know. Just say something and we'll go with it. It's fine. But you're right. So that's a little sneak peek at next week's, because I don't know.
Just rambling on back and forth. This is what
that's what we do every week, Pinky.
It's true. It's true. That's the charm of the show. You know, to hear two grown-ass men ramble on and bounce ideas. Yeah. So do you have any idea of how you're going to bring back the Sentry?
No. Unfortunately, it's the hard answer to that. I will try, because he's got to come back in the third. I can't just set him up to throw him away. So I will have a think about that. I've got 7 days to ponder and contemplate and drive myself into an alcoholic, depressive state of trying to think of how to do this movie.
So if you message me and say I need to postpone the show for like at least,
you know exactly what's happened.
I know exactly what happened. Got so drunk trying to figure out how to he lost 2 days.
Just being rehab, it's like, why are you here again? It's like, I couldn't think of something. I don't know how to bring the Sentry back.
The show is a little bit more postponed than a day. You know. I can give you the address to the rehab center that Mitch is currently at, so you can send his card.
Please do, because I'd need it. No, or just send me the ideas and tell me how to
You'll get partial credit for it. So.
That might snap me out of the funk. But yeah, so hopefully we'll be back next week with the final of the Illuminati movie.
Homework.
Yeah. You got a good 7 days to think of something. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you all next week, hopefully. So bye.
Bye.